Hey there, we are doing it. I am a meteorologist Ben Peine here in the Extol Media Studios in Uptown New Albany, here on the corner of Market and Vincennes. Thanks for tuning in to Ben at 10 right here on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Ben Peine. You see that spelling right there, and Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media, EXTOL Media. Put that in the search in YouTube, and you'll find us there, and you can bring up our live show on the big screen in your house and extolmag.com/weather. So what a evening we had last night, and I'm calling it kind of an experience because there was more than just a sunset, at least in my backyard. There were rainbows, there were cumulus clouds, there were crepuscular rays over the hillside, there was a yellow-orange sky. It was an experience. So put together a really good time lapse that was on my Facebook page last night. Thanks for the hundreds of comments and a lot of the pictures that were pouring in. I've got a video, kind of a little compilation of some of that here in just a second. So good to get a good soaking rain. I know there were some instances of damage. It looks like Edgewood Drive in Charlestown had some trees down there. So some isolated damaging winds with those storms that rolled through. But thankfully, a beneficial rainfall. There was a lot of lightning and thunder. And then once the storms were starting to move south, then we had some of the sun rays kind of come underneath the cloud cover, bouncing off of the clouds, and it made for that glow that we had across the area. So very, very awesome evening last night. Hope you got a chance to experience it as well. And again, we will get to look at the compilation of the sunset pictures in here in just a second. Thank you if you shared some of your pictures from last night. And here's a live look out there now at a lot of sunshine. We're going to be baking and boiling and broiling out there for today. We basically have no relief on the way today or tomorrow. It's coming Thursday. We have a heat advisory today and tomorrow, so do whatever you've been doing to keep cool and beating the heat out there. The weather model's really not picking up on much of any activity today and tomorrow. Unlike the last couple of evenings, we had some showers and thunderstorms. Doesn't look like there's much to kick it up. We've got a little kind of area of high pressure moving in, adds a little lid to the atmosphere. So the heat and humidity building. Heat index likely well over 100 once again for today. So that is going to top our weather headlines for your Tuesday, July the 29th. Again, a heat advisory today and tomorrow. There's excessive heat warnings just to our west. And then rain and some cooler weather begins to move in Thursday. Now, Thursday, I think we keep some of that humidity around. Dew points in the upper 60s, low 70s. But it's Friday when that refreshing air begins to move in, and a phenomenal August weekend on the way. Our first August weekend is going to be gorgeous. So plan something to do outside, trying to plan out maybe a little bit of golf on Friday as this awesome weather begins to move our direction. So as we look at the radar and satellite, things are pretty quiet around the region as we get started here on this Tuesday. As we see a mostly clear sky, just seeing a few more clouds off to the east of I-65 towards Lexington right now. But southern Indiana pretty much in the all clear, which isn't necessarily an awesome thing because that means we're just going to be soaring with those temperatures, skyrocketing temperatures here for us. And we can take a look at some other stuff right here. This is a look at extolmag.com/weather, your southern Indiana resource and beyond for current weather, future weather, of course, your forecast, current conditions. We've got 81 already reported and a very light breeze from the north right now. On the right side, your 3-day forecast, your interactive radar, and then you got your 7-day forecast right there that I posted this morning already. And as you scroll down just a little bit more, you can see the weather story that I also posted this morning. You can click right there on that. Just hit the refresh button. So I've got this titled, Temperature and Humidity Relief Getting Closer. So we're going to look at some of those maps here coming up as we dig into the weather model data, just mentioning some heat safety here too. The main thing that always concerns me the most, because it happens every year, is beat the heat, check the back seat, never leave kids or pets unattended in a hot car. Look before you lock. Heat-related illnesses are totally preventable So let's just do all we can. Check on those that might not have AC and the elderly, make sure they're doing well. There's a look at our forecast for today and beyond too. So do want to thank our partners. We're here because you're here, and we can be here because they are here as well. So do want to thank Michael Long for partnering up with us here recently from American Family Insurance. His advertisement right there on my weather story, but you can also see it right here at amfam.com. Excellence in customer service, proud to be an American Star certified agency. And of course, I've told the story how Michael Long's helped me through a couple of accidents and some roof damage, and had to partner up with Lions Roofing to help us through the roof damage issues. So I want to thank the folks there at Lions Roofing, some awesome people, family owned out of Memphis, Indiana, and also covering work in Louisville, residential, commercial. You can give them a contact at 812-294-3595. And in Louisville, there you can see 502-689-0338. Protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. You can see on their homepage there, you can fill out that form for a free estimate and a whole lot about their company and what they have and what they can offer you. And available employment opportunities continue here at libspaving.com, L-I-B, B as in Ben, S paving.com. You can check them out right there online. You just go to the careers section in the upper right-hand corner and then click on Learn More, and then you can apply online. You can also level up your career and get into your career if you go to ivtech.edu. Locations, head over to Sellersburg. It is Tuesdays at the Tech. Meaning you can get that one-on-one help with registering for classes, scoping out the campus. Beautiful out there, right at Exit 9 in Sellersburg. It's only about 9 miles north of downtown Louisville. You can customize your visit, in-person assistance with registering for classes, career development, paying for college, and a whole lot more. There you can see where you can RSV for Tuesdays at the Tech. We'll be likely heading out there to go live again because they're partnering up with more and more organizations and businesses. They've got big news coming out of there in Sellersburg and becoming a much bigger part of our Southern Indiana community day by day. All right, back here to the interactive radar as I go ahead and head back to our extolmag.com/weather. Just taking a look at the current conditions over the region right now, and we have current temperatures soaring into the 80s. So it is getting steamy out there, and I'm sure we've got some folks popping in the comments. So definitely want to see what's happening here. And remember, if you're commenting, let me know where you're commenting from. And if you're on the back deck, the front porch, or at work, cheers with Big Happy. It's straight up dark roast, no sugar, no cream. My first cup this morning at 7 o'clock had the sugar and cream, but none here this morning. The second cup, no sugar, no cream. Well, we got to ease into the bitterness. All right. Beverly Angus always popping in number one. And next up on our show here, as we come up to 10:08, is going to be my little compilation of the sunset last night. I like sunset pictures. I like it when you guys share them. But last night was a totally different situation. It was really cool. And Beverly saying, I had the orange sky and about 1.5 inches of rainfall last night. It was a good soaker out there. And I've got some grass planted out in the backyard, or some seed out there, which is growing pretty good. And thankfully, when we get these evening rains, I haven't had to water. So that's been going good. Good morning, Ben. We had a little rain in Hodgenville. And we got an online yard sale and services last night for the online. Good luck with your yard sale there. Feel free to add in any more information about that. Orlean. Oh, it's a bit hot again today. I can turn that down. Thank you, Tim. Let me know if that helps there, Tim. I just tuned it down one more, and I can do it again if it's a little hot again. Thank you, Tim, for letting me know about the AV, the audio and the visual. David, thank you. Audio is clipping. Some will find it obnoxious regardless of the volume. So let me know if that, I'm going to turn it down inch by inch if it makes it better, because that drives me crazy as well. Thank you, David. I can pop it down again. I'll pop it down again just in case. So let me know. Actually, I'll check that one more time. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. That does look hot. Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. There. That should be better right there. That should be looking better, right? That was hot. That's weird. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hopefully that's getting better. Let me know. All right. So we're looking. We had Lisa saying crazy lightning last night, ready for the cooler weather. And Orlean, good morning. Have a good day. We had the rain last night. And Tammy Morton, good morning from TSMNVLR. Thank you, Tammy, for tuning in. And Tim Furnish and David Phillips, let me know if this audio is sounding better. I did try to turn it down a little bit here. I'm not sure why it's starting to peak like that. All right, let's get to that video I was talking about here. So I put together this little time lapse on the back deck, and it gets better and better as you look at it. I did share it last night, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and play this. Video doesn't do it justice, but it had that yellow and orange glow, and then turning into pink, kind of purple. You had some of like the evaporation, some of the clouds there in the valley. Trying to share some of your photos you shared with me too. Thank you so much for sending a lot of those photos in the comments last night. There's the big double rainbow. We had it all. We had rainbows and a crepuscular ray cutting through a rainbow. I don't think I've ever seen that. And then the crepuscular rays over the hillside. My mom, Laura Young, with a beautiful view there. And Diane Miller with a nice shot there as well. So it was very, very awesome. Great sunset across the area last night. Karen Adams saying, what beautiful colors. If the mic is a little bit hot, sorry about that. I'll try to get that fixed. I've been trying to turn it down here. I'll do one more mic check before we get rolling. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. It still seems like it's peaking a little bit. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. Maybe that's better right there. All right, let's get back to the forecast here for today. And I'm going to take that off, and we're going to bring this up here. So here's your play ball forecast if you're lucky enough to get outside. Well, I don't know if lucky is the word because it's going to be, again, a scorcher out there. Near 90 by noon, 94 this afternoon, 87 at 8 p.m. Going like 10% chance. It may just be around 0% chance for that rain today. North wind at around 5 to 10. Lily and Lasley coming in with got the rain and the lightning and the thunder, and the wind blew a tree half down. Yeah, there's some isolated reports of some tree damage yesterday. Thanks for that report, Lillian. Tammy saying, what beautiful colors. Yeah, I might have to share that again for folks hopping on a little bit late with the video I just showed of the sunset. UV index a little higher today, 9. Again, the weather model is really not showing much of anything popping up today or tomorrow. Thursday, our next best chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. And we are at moderate levels of the weed, mostly weed pollen out there as we head deeper into our ragweed season. Your July 29th forecast, 94 degrees today with the heat advisory, the heat index up to around 105, and just a very light breeze mainly from the north. Our sunset now at 8:55. Tonight, mostly clear and muggy, a low of 77 degrees. And for tomorrow, just about the same as today, around 80 out the door, 90 by noon, 95 the afternoon, heat index around 105. Not seeing much relief in as far as any pop-up showers. Normal high 89, normal low 71, 6:44 a.m. Sunrise and the sunset at 8:54 and 88 Thursday. So I think, again, we'll keep Mike Perkins say it is way too hot. Can't wait for the lower humidity. And the reason I giggled when I saw that, because I've been working on the microphone. The microphone was way too hot earlier. Let me know if it's still too hot. I've been hitting the down button on the microphone, so it's not too hot. Thought you were talking about the mic for a second. But yes, it's way too hot weather-wise as well. All right, back to the forecast. So I think we do keep a bit of humidity around for Thursday. Spotty showers, mostly cloudy as this cool front moves through. Our August 1st Friday, bringing down the heat, bringing down the humidity, cooler nighttime temperatures. This should be putting an end to what I believe is going to go down as the most humid weather pattern that we've had in the summertime. Not the hottest. We've had hotter summers. We've had temperatures well into the hundreds. We haven't been in the hundreds as far as the actual temperature on the thermometer. We've had the heat index in the hundreds, but as far as and how we would measure that, the muggiest summer ever is you're looking at nighttime temperatures, which correlate to the dew point temperatures that measure water content in the air. So we've had like a stretch of the warmest nights and the highest dew points persisting for so long. So, I mean, this can be an amazing growing season. I've seen a lot of cornfields out there, and the soybeans starting to really, really grow very well. So low 80s. How about that? Feast your eyes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, low mid 80s, nighttime lows in the 60s. Might see some outlying areas, especially Friday night, dipping down to the upper 50s. So good camping weather, good to be outside. Going to try to find some things to do outside as the back is feeling better finally after a few weeks of issues. So 20% chance maybe of a pop-up shower with 87, 88 or so, a little bit warmer there, a little more humid for early next week, but not out of control with that. So there's that forecast. And it's coming up right now, 10:16. That means we're about to start to dig into the weather model data here for you. So we've got Celeste Garrett. Good morning from Elizabethtown. Just came in from outside already. It is hot, humid, hazy, muggy. I hate it. Send fall soon. 2 more days of heat and humidity hell, guys, and then we'll have the relief. But I get it. It is pretty brutal nonstop for us. Especially, we laid in that fresh rain in the ground from last evening's storms, and that's going to evaporate and just add more water to the air. And I was just popping on some of the current conditions out here at, again, extolmag.com/weather, heading well into the 80s. I'd say heat index is probably already here at 90 degrees. All right, let's bring up the model data and a look outside as things are pretty quiet. As we expand out our view and look coast to coast and border to border, really pretty quiet conditions across the region. Let me bring up the dew point map. This is your comfort level. Again, the measure of water content in the air. And this is not weather model data. This is the actual weather observation stations. Christopher, did you make those nachos and cheese? They were good nearly 20 years ago. Good to see your face, Mr. Danner, in there. From Augusta, Georgia, the good old days. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so take a look here. The pocket of dry air way out west over the Rockies, and you got the desert air out there, but even some of that mugginess pushing far over the Great Plains. There's a dew point of, this is insane here. This is in St. Louis has a dew point of 80, 81. They got 82 dew point, highest I've seen. This is crazy. Western Tennessee, Western Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri has 80s dew points. Oh, there's an 80 dew point there. Let me turn off the here. That's wild. You don't see 80s dew points very often at all. I mean, this is as muggy, literally as muggy as we can get, and muggier than Florida. And a big reason for that, some of these weather observation stations near the corn sweat. NBC 26, WAGT, Augusta, Georgia, had a blast down in Augusta. All right, so there's our dew points. It's crazy. It's humid all the way up through the Great Lakes. But again, that will change. And let's look at that change as we bring up the, we'll go precipitable water. I think we could start off with the NAM. And I'm not going to show the future radar for really today and tomorrow or not much of it because it's really not showing much. Oh, check this out. Beverly Hagist was stationed in Augusta, Georgia when I was in the Army in the 80s at Fort Gordon. So I lived right off the Fort Gordon exit, like past Martinez, Georgia, Evans, Georgia. Take a right there. Oakley Perkle was off of, I forget what road, but you go right and you go to my house, you go left, you go to Fort Gordon. So that's awesome, Beverly. We got that connection there from Augusta, Georgia. I was there for like 3.5 years. And Beverly says, yes, that's where I was. It was, talk about heat. We had some weeks and weeks of like 110, 115 down there. It can get real hot in Augusta. I agree with you, Mary Dale. I say we've had some insane weather since the first week of January. Thank you for tuning in here. Okay, back to, let me bring up the NAM weather model, and then we're going to bring up the precipitable water. We'll look at dew points as well. So this is the muggy air that we have across the area for today. I'm going to go into so this is actually, so we'll go to tomorrow. This is the 30th, tropical air in place. I just think it's interesting. I mean, when you take a look at this right here, you're finally getting a different air mass from Canada to like gather strength, large enough, big enough, and a switch in the jet stream as well to kind of dislodge that air into our area. So that's it getting poised to the north tomorrow, but we are still way in the muggy air for tomorrow. So let's go to the 31st. This is Thursday when the front is starting to move through the region. So we still have the mugginess as I bring this up full screen. So this is at 5 p.m. on Thursday. Here's that front cutting into Indiana in the Ohio Valley. But it's the drier air has not caught up yet. So we're feeling good up here in, I would say, the northern half of Indiana, most of Illinois, most of Missouri, Thursday getting in on that. Now, we're still going to be a little sticky on Thursday. It's going to be Thursday night right now. Looks like the time frame when we start to bring in the relief. So we can go to August 1st afternoon, and now we're starting to look a whole lot better. So again, looking here, this is the dry, meaning lower dew points, lower temperatures. It is our happy place right here. I just saw Happy Gilmore too, so maybe that's why I said happy place. Get to your happy place happy. All right. So there's the front moving south. All of this pink and the red is, we'll just do a frowny face in that because that is the muggy air. That is Feel Good Friday. Beverly Haig is saying, and when the occasional rare events that they had snow, they all panicked. They for sure did. I was there for 3.5 years in Augusta, Georgia, Beverly, and we had flurries one time. I think people were all out taking video of it. It was a big deal. You're right. So there we go. That is our Friday. Feeling better, looking better. Let's get the temperature map on here. And you can see the heat wave pushed down along the Gulf Coast. These are the 2 p.m. temperatures via the NAM weather model here. And I don't think it's going to be this cool. Let's not get that excited. But it shows definitely a cool down. Let's bring up the GFS weather model. And then if you're a new viewer here to Ben at 10, we're in the weather nerd section at 1024. We're digging into the weather models. We'll get back to the forecast here in just a second before we wrap it up here on a Tuesday. So I'm going to go to 5 p.m. on our August the 1st. That's more like it. We're looking at upper 70s, low 80s around the region. We're liking that. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. There's the relief. Cheers. Big happy. That's looking good there. That's a good pause break right there. All right. That's your Friday. Let's go back to the dew point map and then the precipitable water. We're talking about the comfort forecast here right now. So loving this 50s, 60s dew points. That means cooler nighttime temperatures. That is our Friday. Let's go into Saturday, August the 2nd. What are your plans this weekend? What's going on in your neighborhood? Is there a yard sale? Is there a county fair? Is there an event? Feel free to drop it in the comments. This is your show. You can let me know what you want to hear, what you want to see as far as maps and whatever. No tropical development, by the way. I checked out the National Hurricane Center. Things are quiet that way. All right, so these are the dew points, the measure of water content in the air for Saturday. And so our dew points are now in the around 75 to 80 range. Through the roof humidity out there now, but drop all the way down to the 50s Saturday and Friday. So that's going to be a 20-degree difference in the amount of dry air that is dropping down into our area. Robert Simpson, the good old Street Rod Nationals. Oh, that is awesome timing for the Street Rod Nationals. Big, huge event that's been going on for, I don't know, 50 years or something like that. For a long, long time. Thanks for bringing that one up. Going to be nice out there for it. I believe Reed Yaden's always out there live. He's always doing the Street Yard Nationals out at the Expo and the fairgrounds. All right, so that's the dew point map. Let me go ahead and bring back up the... So this is for this weekend. I just think the precipitable water just shows it in a little bit better contrast. Precipitable water contrasted to the dew point is looking through the depth of the atmosphere, the column, and how much rain basically you could wring out if you had a storm move through. So the pink and the red indicates a whole lot of moisture in the atmosphere, where the dew point is based at the surface and it is a measure of your surface water content. But this still shows the trend very well, which is a huge wedge of dry air moving into our region. And then you may have heard of the Gulf Stream. It goes up the East Coast and then wraps around and keeps the United Kingdom and those areas warmer than they typically would be if they didn't have the Gulf Stream. And so then you've got this Great Lakes Canadian air dropping over us and then pushing all of that tropical air down into Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida. They continue to be insanely muggy, but we are looking in good shape. Now, how long can this possibly last? Not all that long, probably. Let's go into Monday. That's going to be August the 4th. And it does look like we start to see a bit of an increase in the humidity levels. Now, the one thing is, if you look close, it's not crazy humidity. It's like dew points in the 60s coming back for Monday. So that you can start to see that yellow over us. That's indicating, yeah, you'll probably feel it get a bit more humid than Friday and Saturday, but it's still not oppressive like it has been. And then we can go into our August 5th. Then we're starting to get a little more humid again. We're starting to see some of those pink colors. So this is looking kind of like typical summer weather early next week, upper 80s, more humidity, and maybe an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm as well early next week. All right, we'll go and take a look at a few other things, and then we'll get back to your forecast. Fun to look over the weather models here. Real quick view of the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook. So overall showing kind of normal temperatures or a little bit below normal temperatures. So this is getting past our cool down this weekend through like the middle of next week. So showing at or below normal temperatures through the East Coast. Probably not a whole lot to show as far as it gets a little more bland. That shows possibly warming back up. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook. So the weather models did look like it could turn a bit hotter, maybe like second week of August. And then as we bring up the Storm Prediction Center, the SPC risk of severe weather, no risk for us. We're looking pretty high and dry today. Slight risk of severe storms over Nebraska and into northeastern Wyoming, southwestern South Dakota. And then the day 2 severe weather outlook. I'm not really buying this. This shows level 1 out of 5 over I-64 and north for tomorrow. Don't think we're going to have much popping up for our Wednesday. And then as we go to day 3 from the Storm Prediction Center, maybe for the first time in a really long time, it shows no risk of severe weather over the entire continental United States for Thursday, day 3. So looking pretty good there. All right, that is the weather model data there. And look at the current temperatures as we're beginning to soar out there. They've already got 91 in Jacksonville, Florida, and New Orleans. Temperatures a little bit worse to the south. Memphis at 90 degrees, 84 in St. Louis, have 81 in Louisville at least, because the temperatures are going up here second by second. And then one last check of the rad sat as things are still very quiet around the region. So again, the weather model is really not picking up on much of anything for today. We can briefly bring up the future radar with we'll go with the HER weather model. This updates about every hour. And we'll take a look at the reflectivity. So this is right now, not showing anything. Going into this afternoon, over the Appalachians, seeing a little bit of activity there. It shows not even a pop-up downpour today. It showed one little thing there around Rough River. It would be incredibly isolated, it looks like, if anything tries to pop up. So we're in good shape out there for today. This is the 48-hour version as we go into tomorrow morning with the high-resolution rapid refresh weather model. And into tomorrow afternoon, I don't, again, see anything popping up. The active weather is up north along that front. There over in northern Illinois tomorrow. This is at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. For tomorrow. So we're looking, again, the model's really not picking up on much out there today and tomorrow. That's just going to allow us to sizzle in the very steamy weather. So there is a look at all that weather model data there as we come up to 10:33 on your Tuesday. Going to get back to the forecast here. And I mentioned, if you weren't on earlier, maybe I'm obsessing a little bit too much of the sunset we had last night, but it was pretty crazy. Here's a look at some video and some pictures, a little compilation here for you. Let's bring it up from yesterday evening after the storms rolled. So this is the time lapse I set up, and it goes from like yellowish. It looked a lot more yellow and orange in person. The camera just did not do it justice. There's a crepuscular ray in the upper right-hand corner, and then we see it turn to more like a pinkish hue, purple, with a few of those little leftover cumulus clouds out there going over the hilltop. thank you too for putting in the comments in white, but showing us the big double rainbow. And then a crepuscular ray cutting through the rainbow here from Deb Harder in Memphis. More crepuscular rays there over the hillside. And then my mom, Laura Young, showing us some nice pictures there. And Diane Miller here from Borden, Indiana, showing us the nice sunset. So again, a lot better in person. Cameras cannot do it justice. It was awesome out there. And it was crazy too, because the storms had moved well into Kentucky. We were still getting lightning strikes with that sunset. So it was a pretty awesome view out there. All right, here's a look at the forecast here for today. Your weather headlines: heat advisory through tomorrow. Rain and cooler begin to move in Thursday, but really the refreshing air is on the way for our August 1st, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Looking great out there. So plan something to do outdoors this weekend. Got the Street Rod Nationals, as Robert mentioned. And just some things to keep in mind: look before you lock. Never leave kids or pets unattended in a hot car out there. May want to limit those outdoor strenuous activities in the afternoon time. And we're going to be heading up to around 90 by noon, 94 this afternoon. Heat index around 105. I got a 10% rain chance, but I think it's going to be even lower than that. Most areas should stay dry today, and a very light north breeze around 5 to 10. And then our UV index up to a 9 today, very high level. And we got moderate levels of mostly weed pollen out there as we head deeper into summer and into early fall. We get into that peak of the ragweed season. Your summary of your July 29th forecast for today. Again, that heat advisory rolls on. And our sunset at 8:55, 77 for tonight, muggy and mostly clear. And your Wednesday, July 30th forecast, another heat advisory, just about the same as today, going 95, 105 heat index. Sun up 6:44, sunset 8:54. We've got that rain chance Thursday as that front moves through. Upper 80s, still a little humid Thursday, and then the big time humidity drop is Friday and into Saturday. Cooler nighttime temperatures as well as we fall into the lower 60s Friday night and Saturday. Might tickle the upper 50s in a few outlying areas. And then 84 Sunday, getting a little more moisture back in the air, kind of typical summer weather early next week, Monday, Tuesday, may lead us to an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm as well. So that is your forecast right there. Getting a couple more comments popping up. Laura made it, but late. That's why we do the recap for you guys popping in a little bit late. Thanks for tuning in. Lillian Lasley saying beautiful picture there. Thank you, Lillian, for tuning in as well. Let me back that out and bring this back up. Just a few reminders here. You've got all of your weather tools and resources here. And if you want to see any more resources posted all the time here on extolmag.com/weather, your Southern Indiana weather source, you can just let me know. We can add maps. We can customize here for you. You can click on anything here and it'll bring up, look at all the excessive heat advisories, heat warnings. The west of 65 over much of western Kentucky under the excessive heat warning. It's even worse out to the west. So the core of the heat wave, if you look closely there in that pinkish color, that is centered over the Mississippi River Valley. So that's a look at the current warnings out there. Bringing up a live look out there now at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation camera. I mean, I can just only imagine how muggy it is sitting right by the Ohio River. We've got Vicky Berger saying, I've been on my phone. It's crazy. Goes off and back on. So I didn't want to miss anything you have to show. The youth did come Sunday from church and clean the gardens up. That's awesome. Glad they did that in all the heat. Laura saying the lightning was crazy last night. It was pretty vivid and frequent with that lightning last night. So there's our steamy start with that live look outside with the Falls of the Ohio.org camera view there. And I was just mentioning all the resources you can get right here with extolmag.com/weather. We're seeing temperatures already at 86 in downtown Louisville, 84 around the Knobs, 85 around Greenville. It's getting toasty out there as well. They are keeping busy at Lions Roofing. local family company here. You can get a free estimate. You can learn more about them at lionsroofingco.com, 812-294-3595. They are also helping you out in Kentucky, too. Give them a ring if you want some help there. Maybe not happy with your contractor. Head to careers section at lionsroofingco.com. They've got a roofing repair technician job opening there. If you know a family member or a friend that needs an opportunity, check that out. Lots of opportunities still here as well at libspaving.com, L-I-B, B as in Ben, S paving.com. So not only checking out all the available opportunities, but if you just head right to the homepage there at libspaving.com, you can see the top asphalt contractor in the region and look at all the area that they serve in Kentucky and Indiana, but also all the services in the company that they are right there. I want to thank my buddy Michael Long for jumping on Extol Weather as well, American Family Insurance, and he can help you out through the entire Hoosier state and has got products for you in Kentucky too. You can call him 812-578-3072, has been my agent for maybe a decade or so, has been my son's travel ball coach, gives back to the community. So give him a call here. Proud to be an American certified agency, excellence in customer service, and almost all 5-star reviews. And there are over 100 reviews. So if you need a quote, some information about insurance, car, home, whatever it might be, there you go. Michael Long, 812-578-3072. It is Tuesdays at the Tech today. What you can do if you want to learn more here, I highly encourage your high school student, whether sophomore, junior, senior, go to ivytech.edu. You can go to the Sellersburg location. You're going to see a lot of resources here, but with Tuesdays at the Tech, you can click right there and you can RSVP for your customized visit at the Sellersburg campus. That's exit 9 right off 65, 9 miles north of Louisville. And they've got RN programs. They've got 42 different programs with 2-year certifications. You can find out how to get started, register for classes, and how to pay for this as well. So you can save thousands of dollars compared to a lot of other universities. So in these credits, a lot of these credits are going to transfer for you like they did for my daughter. And we'll likely be heading out there learning more about all their partnerships and programs with area organizations, the military, so becoming a bigger and bigger part of our community here in Southern Indiana and providing the workforce for Southern Indiana as well. All right, so looking live out there at the corner of Vincent's and Market at 1042 as we're on the tail end of our Ben at 10. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support, by the way, on our show with all of our content here with Extol Weather, Extol Media. And if you, I just want to remind you, if you ever want to partner up, it's easy to do with Extol Weather or Extol Media, full marketing solutions for you, not only here on Ben at 10, but on the maps that I post, on the other content that we have on our platforms. We can get you plugged in here, Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. So thanks for or if you just have a weather question, feel free to shoot me over an email at ben@extolmag.com. Thanks for popping in on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Peine, or maybe you're right here on the Extol Weather page on Facebook, extolmag.com/weather online, and Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Let's get through one more day tomorrow of the excessive heat and humidity. Then we're going to track that rain chance Thursday. Then we're going to talk about an awesome first August weekend on tomorrow's show. That'll be our July 30th as July is wrapping up. And the last comment of the morning. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support. We'll see you later.